Okay, hello, welcome. I guess this is my WWE Network final review for the days 5, 6, and 7 that I watched the network. I didn't make one for day 5 or day 6 or day 7. Just got busy doing other stuff, but I was watching some of the network. And today's Monday. It's been a week. I've cancelled my free trial, cancelled my subscription. I won't be renewing my or starting up my commitment to the network just yet. But my thoughts. I watched SmackDown post-show. I didn't watch it at the time it was live because that's quite late on Friday night and I wasn't really, that interested. Saturday morning, I checked out the SmackDown Backstage Pass post-show, which is a half-hour show. I couldn't find the pre-show on the network on demand, which is interesting. But then again, there's no real category for it as well. You have to just kind of find it in the schedule and watch it from there. At least on the PS3 app. So the Backstage Pass I loved. It was hosted by Josh Matthews, Booker T, Big Show, and Alex Riley. And basically they just kind of covered what happened on SmackDown. And I think it would be great for kind of people like me who don't always watch SmackDown, never watch SmackDown, unless something notable happens and you hear about it. And you can just see the highlights of SmackDown in half an hour with some backstage interviews, some talk from the panel. It was really good. I actually really enjoyed it. Big Show and Booker T were just having a laugh the whole time, but Booker T really cracked up Big Show at one point, so it was really fun to see them having fun. And probably my favourite moment of the whole WWE Network over the whole week was at one point, Josh Matthews, who was hosting the panel, said, "The animal Batista," to kind of bring the conversation onto Batista, and Booker T just goes, and just like the Booker T machine gun taunt, and it was just like went down like a fart in church. It was hilarious, absolutely amazing. Yeah, I just thought that was brilliant. There was like a Daniel Bryan interview with Renee Young that was good. We got to see what happened after SmackDown went, off the air, and also we found out that they taped it. This live SmackDown Backstage Pass, they taped it right as SmackDown was ending, and you see how quickly the building gets vacated as well after SmackDown. There was a cool bit with the Usos and Daniel Bryan after their match. The Usos going "oos" and the crowd going "oh," and then Bryan going "yes," and then they kind of timed it where it was like "oos, oh yes, oos, oh yeah," and that was really fun little bit of crowd interaction. I enjoyed seeing that as the panel were talking. Yeah, and just some interviews and stuff like that, and what happened on SmackDown. I enjoyed it; it was good. Anything else? I'm trying to think from the network. I mean, oh yeah, of course. Well, me and Connie were doing this 30 days of Mania series, which will be debuting on the 8th of March. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Where every day there will be a video about a WrestleMania up until WrestleMania 30, the day it happens. We're up to about 21 now, and we've been watching them from downloaded copies. I own every WrestleMania on DVD. Sometimes I have multiple copies of them because I have some of the anthology sets as well. So I just downloaded them. I already own them, so no problems there really. And we've been watching them from downloaded copies through the PS3. So I thought, let's try the network. I hadn't really been able to watch something that efficiently all week on the on-demand thing, apart from some. Like This Is NXT and the Countdown show and WrestleMania Rewind, which I watched and enjoyed. But so we decided to try it. WrestleMania 20 we watched solely on the network, and I gotta say, bar a few hitches, it was very good. Like it paused a couple of times, and we just had to kind of rewind and forward, and it kind of sorted itself out again. The quality at times was brilliant. It would kind of like go down a bit at times and then come back, but no complaints really. I really enjoyed it. We watched the main event. We watched Undertaker Kane, we watched Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, and the opening of the event. So that's about at least about an hour of the show, and it ran pretty smoothly. So that was really cool. I'm confident that in the future, that we're going to be able to see anything we want. It'll run like clockwork. So that's cool. Apparently they're streaming main event tomorrow night on Tuesday. Not as a regular thing, but just to kind of get some of those kinks ironed out for the live streaming process. And of course tonight we got the big Raw from Chicago, but I haven't signed up for this week, so I've cancelled my subscription. It still hasn't said my PayPal funds have been released yet, so I'm waiting for confirmation on that. But it seems like it's all it's all settled and I've had my trial and that's it and that's done. So ultimately my thoughts on the network. I think they've done a fantastic job. I think they really, I mean, apparently they spent like $75 million over the past 2 years just preparing for this. So and it really shows, you know, that the app is good, the desktop version is good. I think a happy medium between the both is required for the best experience. I still feel like searching through pay-per-views on the app is quite laborious, because to get to WrestleMania you have to start from Armageddon or whatever it is and go in alphabetical order, WrestleMania, and then you know, it should be more intuitive. Well, actually, you know, when you click on WrestleMania, you can just click on year, and you go to the year pretty quickly. But actually, getting to WrestleMania can be quite a bit tiresome. Whereas the desktop version, very easy to get straight to it. They need to sort out the search function. Remember, I searched for WrestleMania 20 and it was at the bottom of the page and not the top, and there were like unrelated searches near the top. The search function needs to be refined on the PS3 app, I think, because you only get 10 results, and you should be able to kind of search through it a bit more extensively than that, I think. You shouldn't be limited just because you're on the PS3, which I think a lot of people will be doing, as opposed to the desktop version. Again, live streaming needs to be sorted out. Otherwise, you know, I did quite enjoy the NXT Arrival experience, apart from that glitch. Hopefully they get that sorted out. The chapter points, I feel like they need to hire someone else to do them. It's a great idea, and I'm glad that they're doing the chapter points. I do feel like they should have had them all set up before the network went live, though, because I was looking through events, and I come back to it a few days later and there'd be chapter points there. So it seems like people are literally programming in the chapter points on all these pay-per-views and shows while the network is going on. I feel like, you know, you could bang this out in a couple of weeks, you know, if you just get some person to sit down and do it. And I would have done it a lot better, because the chapter points start as the match starts. So if it's a match at WrestleMania and you want to watch it, you click on it on the chapter point, they're in the ring, the bell's about to go. You don't get the build-up, you don't get the entrance, so you have to rewind and go like back and then pause it and then play it. Oh, that's not quite there, still in the middle of the hype package, rewind it, pause it, that kind of thing. Connie hadn't seen WrestleMania 20, so when we watched Undertaker vs. Kane, then Eddie Guerrero vs. Kurt Angle, then the main event, just because Undertaker Kane was a short match when we were having dinner at the time. So to get the build-up package, I had to skip to the end of Angle Guerrero, get Connie to not look and block her ear so she wouldn't see the outcome because she hadn't seen it before, and then I forward to the opening package of Undertaker Kane, and it just got to the point where I was like, this is too much hassle. Either put chapter points at the beginning of the hype package and start it from there, or just have, you know, multiple chapter points. I mean, it's surely a very simple process. And also, they're not quite there like the John Cena Rock match at WrestleMania 29. If you click to go to the finish of the match, it's already over and you don't get to see the finish. So, they need to refine that, I feel. They didn't have chapter points for the main event at WrestleMania 20. I understand why. Probably not want to put his name on there, so that's, you know, I understand that. But there you go. Anything else I can think of, you know, that would be good if it was improved? Yeah, I feel like what's the word? Viewing memory. Like, say you watch WrestleMania 13, you're watching it and you're in the middle of like Austin and Brett, and then you got to go do something, so you can't just pause it, so you exit, you close the app, you turn the TV off, blah blah blah. You come back and you click on WrestleMania 13 again, and it pops up where you last left off. I don't know what you call that, it just slipped my mind, but they should have that on the network. I'm sure they'll introduce it at some point, have some update, because it's just one of those things that almost everything has now. Yeah, and sharing what you viewed, like like Netflix does. You know, if you've watched something, it kind of it logs what you've watched and it posts it to your Facebook account. Your Facebook account, if you link them, and also it keeps track of what you've watched, and so it can kind of recommend stuff for you. Well, maybe they shouldn't do that and be too much like Netflix, but I feel like and you can rate the event you've watched, stuff like that. I think there's lots of new little features that they'll probably implement as the years go on, which will be really cool. But yeah, it's not perfect, but it's pretty damn awesome and great for wrestling fans. Absolutely amazing for wrestling fans. And I have heard that this trial week hasn't even been the full whack. They've been holding back so that when people do start paying for this, they'll reap even more rewards from it. So I'm looking forward to signing up whenever I do. I'm sure I definitely will in the future, but for me that whole NXT Arrival debacle was a real downer, and also the fact that I'm going away for a few weeks and wouldn't get the use out of it, I don't think. But we'll see how it goes. And also, again, I go through phases of watching wrestling where I'll watch it every day and then I won't watch it for months. And so I don't know if I want to stick to that 6-month commitment yet, but we'll see what happens. So there's my network review. So I've done the day one where I talked about the initial experience. You can go check that video out. I did the PS3 app tour and the first impressions on day 2. You can go check that out. And then just some general kind of thoughts about Raw, the old school Raws, and Raw not being shown live on the network. And then the 4th day I talked about the NXT Arrival show. And now this is my final wrap up. So thank you for watching. If you have, leave me a comment, and yeah, see you next time.
He says he's really cool, but I think he's a tool. Even though I'm sure he's a quite nice guy, really. He's a quite nice guy, really.